Denis Villeneuve's adaptation of the sci-fi series, Dune, boomed in theaters in October 2021. At the time, audiences went into raptures. Ticket sales at the box office were equally enthusiastic. The sequel is officially on the way, set for release on November 3, 2023. Warner Bros. Has already given viewers a glimpse of Dune, Part 2, by releasing the first official trailer, a teaser of the upcoming epic, gritty battle. In the trailer, we see Chalamet, a favorite of many girls, where he dances with Zendaya as Paul Atreides, leads an army and even rides a sandworm. Of course, we don't see the whole worm now, but the trailer hints that it will happen. Remember at the end of Part 1 when we saw a sand rider riding a giant sandworm across the desert? The director promises that he intends to film one of the book's most iconic scenes, when Paul must master the art of riding worms to become the leader of the Fremen. We also got a brief glimpse of the full cast, which includes Austin Butler, Florence Pugh, Rebecca Ferguson, Stellan Skarsgård, Léa Seydoux, Dave Bautista, Javier Bardem, Josh Brolin and others. Christopher Walken will also appear in the film, although his character was absent in the first trailer. In fact, Denis Villeneuve said that Part 1 was more of a contemplative film. The second part is an action-packed, epic, war film, much more dense. To shoot the second part of Dune, the crew went to all new places, built new sets. And all this to avoid a sense of repetition. So what will happen in the second half of Dune? We can expect Villeneuve's plot to follow the branch of the second half of Herbert's Dune. Rest assured that the outline in the second half of the novel makes for a compelling, more plot-driven story. We will not reveal all the delightful twists and turns, but we will lift some of the veil of mystery nonetheless. Part 2 traces Paul's rise to power among the Fremen and his eventual rebellion against Emperor Padishah Shaddam IV. Paul's journey to becoming the legendary Kwisatz Haderach will test his character and endanger his life. As his clairvoyant visions predicted, Paul and Chani begin a romantic relationship, and Lady Jessica gives birth to a daughter, Alia, with the extraordinary abilities of Bene Gesserit. On the red carpet for Bones and All, Chalamet said he reviewed Dune, Part 1, in the midst of filming Dune, Part 2. The actor talked about how the cycles fit his life. He was younger when he first filmed it, and was kind of dazzled by how big the movie was. And now that Paul Atreides is getting more and more confident, Chalamet is feeling more and more confident, too. It sounds like we can count on a more confident and self-sufficient Paul Atreides character. That sounds convincing. When Paul committed his first murder at the end of the first part, it signaled his transition from boyishness to manhood. The second part will require more of Paul as a warrior and leader, and will also tap into his prescience ability. Let's pay some attention to Zendaya as Chani. Before the release of the first part, in whose trailers Chani made frequent appearances and Zendaya walked the red carpets as Timothée Chalamet's co-star, some fans were shocked when she appeared in the film for only 7 minutes. In Part 2, Chani will play a larger role, which will be welcome news to Zendaya fans. The most important casting decision is Austin Butler, Paul's bitter rival, who becomes his main antagonist in his quest for absolute power. Butler revealed that he spent months training with Navy SEALs to physically prepare for the role. But fans have voiced one serious concern about Butler: what if he brings the voice of Elvis to Arrakis? Just so you understand, the actor has been widely nominated for his performance as Elvis Presley. And Butler's voice coach warned that Elvis's voice could stay there forever. Naturally, fans, upon hearing this, feared that Feyd-Rautha would speak Elvis style. But in fact, all of the Harkonnens will play a larger role in the second part, as Paul will fight both Feyd-Rautha and Baron Harkonnen. The surprising connections between the House of Harkonnen and the House of Atreides are revealed. Villeneuve even compared the film to a chess game, saying that he wanted to have more leeway to go a little deeper. That's why the second part will introduce some new characters. The first part was still more about Paul Atreides and Bene Gesserit and his experience of first contact with another culture. In the second part there will be a lot more Harkonnen. We can expect most of the supporting cast of Part 1, that is, those who survived the Midnight Massacre of House Atreides, to return for Part 2, such as Josh Brolin's Gurney Halleck who, as fans of the book know, escapes and joins a band of spice smugglers, later reuniting with Paul. As for Jason Momoa, whose Duncan Idaho died valiantly while defending Paul and Lady Jessica, it's possible he'll return, though not exactly as you remember him. Spiceheads know that in Dune, Messiah, Duncan Idaho is returned to life as a Gola, or a resurrected clone, with no memories of his former life. Duncan's Gola is gifted to Paul, only to later die again, and subsequently be rebirthed multiple times. But that's not all. Villeneuve said he always envisioned 3 films. So the Dune universe won't stop at Part 2. And in fact, it would be great to follow Paul Atreides and his full development. If Dune traces Paul's path to power, then Dune, the Messiah, traces his downfall. But don't expect to see Dune, the Messiah, in theaters anytime soon. Villeneuve said he wants to wait a few years until Timothée Chalamet is old enough to make the final part. Did you hear that? Just a little longer, and it will be time to break into Arrakis.